Welcome everyone to the Puff
Drink
and
Talk
Podcast.
I like that. I think we're keeping it. Conrad here,
Dylan, Hilton.
and George.
and welcome to another great episode where we talk a little bit about a lot, smoke on some phenomenal cigars,
Yeah.
and drink wet or whistle with various beverages.
Eventually we eat.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Now,
we-
sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes we do.
Yeah, sometimes, right?
I'd
Yeah.
like to eat more
Yes.
during the podcast.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
would
that's
love
what I'm saying. You know, like
because
Yeah.
outside of the podcast, I
Yeah.
eat too much. When it's time to come to the
Yeah.
podcast,
All
I
right,
don't
so,
eat at
yeah.
all.
I do too.
yeah,
Gosh,
from
man.
time to time. Yeah, but we did from time to time. we
Yeah,
did,
yeah, we have.
So this is episode
69.
delicious. And that's how we call like 69.
Why?
I didn't even realize that. Do we have the link? Sorry, did we
We
get
can
the link?
we can send the links out because we are
Please.
live. So being live.
We are being live, and gentlemen,
We are live.
I know we are a little bit late, a lot of bit late today, but we've been having some discussions about the podcast.
Yeah.
Exciting things are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies
True.
and gentlemen, exciting things coming. So we appreciate everyone who has stuck around, been with us from the beginning, and we appreciate you. But things are changing for the good, for the best,
For the better.
for the better of everything. So that's coming up. I'm excited.
Betterest.
The
Yeah,
better.
the better.
That is coming out because now I'm looking at that camera over there. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
True.
Me
See,
and George.
Camera
over
placement,
there.
it's all
We
different.
can see Dylan's hands.
My
and
best
Lauren's
side.
hands,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and fingers and stuff, and then that way
Oh, sorry.
we saw the two of you, which
Yes.
is this camera over here. Like I would have to do that.
Gentlemen, what are you smoking?
I'm glad you asked. So, you switch back to you. Boom. Right here. Got La Aroma de Cuba, the original.
All right.
Would you mind holding up my cigar
I don't mind at all.
there, Dylan?
Is it a cigar?
That's what she's. It's a full 8
It's
inches.
a full 8 inches of Plasencia Reserva.
Yeah.
You may need to get closer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can see it.
How about yours?
Mine.
I know what it is.
Yeah, mine is exactly the same as Dylan's, and I can show it.
Oh,
over
you can
here
show it. Yeah, that's right.
on
That's
this
right.
camera.
Yeah, La Aroma de Cuba. I tell you, this is one of my tried and true favorites. Just a classic that never gets old.
Let me show
Mine is Buenaventura. It's a small batch. I think 2,500 cigars of this were made.
Yeah.
It's a puro, Nicaraguan puro.
know what that
it was
means.
sold as peppery and creamy. So I want to see if I find it.
Nicaraguan tobacco typically leans peppery.
Yeah,
So it should be a good one.
yeah. It's,
Not always, but
it seems dense.
dense. It's
Yes.
packed.
So you're in for a smoke today.
Yes.
You're in for the long haul. Not my.
I'm here for a good time.
Not for your 8 inches.
Yeah.
For a long time.
I do have to say thank you, George, for giving this to me.
Sure, yeah.
I've never smoked
Shout
a
out.
Plasencia before, and I've never smoked something this large.
Have you not?
No, I have not. I have not enjoyed a Plasencia.
They're good. I
They're
like
good?
the sense of, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm excited to try this.
I'm not sure
Smells
about this
good.
one.
Have you know,
Tamiris smokes.
native-
Is the only one that Tamiris smokes from time to time. You know.
Which
Yeah.
one?
She doesn't add
The
much.
Placencia?
The Placencia. This is small Placencia, the tiny Placencia.
Bastante?
Yeah, but actually, is that you're not supposed to use it a theta if it's not Z, but a lot of people
Zapato.
do. Yeah, exactly. If you see, you know,
Oh, sweet.
And why is that? Do you
It's
know?
neat.
That's like Spanish from Spain, right?
Yeah.
So I always read as like an old
Yeah.
tale that the king at the time, his son had a lisp. This is what I read, and I don't know if it's true. But his son had a lisp, not a problem pronouncing those things, so it changed the pronunciation from zapato to zapato. Anything with a Z.
For real, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't know. Good.
Speech impediment.
Yeah. All right. Like speech impairment. Yeah. I don't know. I just noticed that technically you're supposed to use that.
I'm
only
not
with
saying
a
it's
Z.
true.
Yeah, but
I'm saying it's what I heard.
it looks good. It looks good.
There's a huge difference between the two.
No.
Shit, I heard we didn't even land on the moon, so, you know, I don't even...
I heard the same fucking thing.
Oh my God.
I heard some things about 9/11. I heard a lot of things.
Yeah.
How about the shape of the Earth?
Obelisk.
Obelisk. Okay.
It's just a giant frisbee.
Is it flat?
Yeah, flat.
Well,
right?
the Earth actually looks like a pickleball ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It has
not.
holes in it.
Yeah.
It's not perfectly spherical.
Speaking about pickleball, did you see the picture essentially?
I saw that, yeah.
Austin is the capital
Of pickleball.
of the United States for pickleball.
By the way,
Doesn't
By
surprise
far.
there is a local tournament that is being held by a friend of mine that we donated cigars and ashtrays.
Me. Yeah.
January the 25th, and everybody's invited. It's a $10 donation to a non-profit
What kind of competition is that?
pickleball.
Oh, pickleball. Okay.
Where's it at?
I'll get the address and send it to you because I don't remember the name of the place, but I have an email from Jake.
I haven't played yet, but we could form a team. And
Yeah.
then,
That'd
be pretty cool.
I think the rules can be pickled
You can-
up pretty fast, you know?
It's easy.
I'll pickle through those
Oh,
rules.
pickled.
pretty
Yeah.
quick.
I think you can pickle. Yeah.
It's January 25th, so,
Okay, so we
we can
have
go
some, two,
and
two
you know,
weeks to train.
2 each, yeah.
2 weeks to train. Let's
No,
do it.
we are not gonna train. We're just gonna go and play. I'm telling
Peter
you.
Piper picked a pack of pickleball.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Peter
That'll be our
Piper
team
picked
name. Peter
A pack of-
Piper's
A
pickleball.
pack of pickle peppers. Pack of pickle peppers.
Pack of pickle
Peter Piper picked.
pickleball.
Peter Piper picked a pack of peppers.
Who touched whose pecker?
Peter Pipe too.
Yeah. Who's the She
Sounds like a fun-
Yeah.
Mazza!
Sounds like a fun time. All right.
Yeah. Let's play. So yeah. So
So this week is CES. Does anyone know what that is?
Care to elaborate?
Consumer Electronic Show.
Consumer Electronics Show.
It
Where's
is
that?
a convention in the beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada,
Ooh, home of the conventions.
home of the convention centers. Yes, it is one of the largest conventions strictly about upcoming tech. That's either prototype,
Oh, okay.
pre-production, or soon to be in production or in production, and they're just showing it off there. A lot of different companies have shared their visions of what they
is
want
it
to do.
international or is it national?
Very, very international.
International.
Very-
How does
yes.
it relate to the same similar event that
Interplanetary.
happened when Elon Musk launched the robots? The robots,
I
remember?
think it'd be bigger than that because that was
Yeah.
actually, I think it was like a Tesla keynote speech.
Yeah.
Oh,
type
was it?
thing.
Because I thought it was a bigger, like a
Okay.
electronic, or I'm sorry, technology even.
Oh,
That's what-
excuse my ignorance. I could be wrong. I thought it was like
Okay.
a Tesla keynote thing, but I could be 100% wrong on that.
No, yeah.
But I
So-
know these Vegas things are like global. People come here from all over the world.
Okay.
So, and I think
Not
it's
here.
every four or 5 years, Elon does a like a touch base as far as what the vision for Tesla is. I forget what that's called.
A shareholders meeting.
Shareholders meeting. But I believe that was a year or two ago when they first opened up the Tesla factory here in Austin.
Yes.
S-
Which they are still doing construction on, by the way.
and they're still making that thing bigger, which is absolutely insane to me.
I drove past it around Christmas going to Beaumont, and
Have
they're
you
still
seen
putting
the robots?
glass walls
Have you seen it?
the size of.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's if you go to the domain, you can see there. It's there.
It's there?
Shockingly strong and big. The woman body was like 6. So the man, I think, is gonna be like 7.
Feet tall?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
And-
That'd be weird.
I'd box it up.
Like, yeah, versus a kangaroo. Like,
It's not allowed to harm a human yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean
I'll have to send you
Well,
some videos. I've been sharing them with
the
Conrad.
the 3 rules, right? Yeah, the 3 rules.
Asimov. right?
Asimov, as Isaac Asimov.
Yeah.
I was showing some. So this guy is writing a software using ChatGPT connected to a machine gun that
It's right.
he uses AI, and it's just like a gun on like a mount that will shoot at stuff. And then now he wrote a code where it can read colors. So like throw balloons in, and depending on the color of the balloon, it like snaps to it and just shoots it.
Instantaneous.
And then it's shown how like the computer software can read and like make a box out of like a human, but then it'll read like the head as a box, and so it just headshots everybody. So it's like aimbotting in a video game in real life. There's some stuff people can do today that is shocking.
yeah.
So those robots might not do anything, but people are using AI to do whatever they want.
But it takes only one country, one AI for one country, only one, to control all the others. It takes
beg
only
you.
one.
Guess the country that would do it.
It needs to be America, man.
But will it be?
It needs to.
It's like the Great Race. This is like the race to the moon of our time.
That's actually a good summarization.
Yeah,
I like,
yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Just thought of it.
Yeah. All
So,
day.
what are you saying?
Oh, just right now.
We have a short there, man.
Yeah.
So, what you're saying, actually, if this is the new race to the moon thing, it means that all this is not really happening because it's fake.
It's all just a.
Okay. The
God
segue there.
Hilton. God
Okay.
dang it, Hilton. That's
Isn't
a
that
good
great
one.
when
We
isn't
live in
that,
a simulation.
isn't that great when
Yeah.
before the show we talk to each other like we did today, because there are so many things that we can actually pull it. It makes more interesting.
Yeah.
If we do it like 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes before the show, like the images. I collected the images for this show. You see that I collected
What
images.
images? What images?
Hilton has
You-
strategically muted his WhatsApp so that he doesn't get blown up throughout the day. So it'll be like 5 o'clock, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, you didn't see what they sent in?
Well, as I mentioned,
I
it
get
could be
every
from
week.
5 to 5. You know,
Gave
like
up on it.
Every week, I always send in, like, we're going to discuss this. Here's pictures of this. There's a link for this.
I think
And you show up like, oh, you guys said what?
he knows that we'll be together, and I'll just bring up the important stuff because I don't have it muted. But today, he got here, and I got here at like 4:30ish, coming from different directions. We hadn't seen each other for like 5 hours. So
No, pretty much the whole day, because I left at 7:30. I dropped in for about 20 minutes to drop some samples and pick up all the samples.
Yeah.
And then I went again, and then for again another 5 hours to come back. But the thing is, if you send on the day,
there's no time to review it.
yeah, I only have time at night.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So if you send during the day, I don't have time.
My bad.
Unfortunately.
Then I'll
It's got
send
to be
it to
on
you.
Mondays and Tuesdays.
So, okay.
By
I'll
Wednesday,
start.
it's too late.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're having this conversation on the podcast.
course.
Live.
Live.
Of course.
Yeah. To know. Send out the link. Send out the
Live.
link, you guys.
as it is, man. Life as it is. You see,
Life is worth living.
life. You know, it is the way it is. Very peppery.
Que
They're
será,
right.
será.
O que será, será.
Será. Today is my dad's birthday.
Oh, happy
Hey,
birthday.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
What
I'm
else is
just-
going on in world news? You're bringing up. So, what's significant about? Have you seen anything interesting in the CES thing?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just copying the link. Give me just 2 seconds.
Better be.
Well, I'll copy the link as well. Man.
Okay. Let's share it.
I know usually my friends like hopping on and seeing all 4 of us on our phones simultaneously.
Yeah, really.
I know that's why they watch every week.
I swear we're more
Just kidding. They don't
professional.
watch. They stopped watching. Their lives are too busy. I'm gonna send it to them right now.
Okay, so I sent it to my group of people.
Viewers, we have created new social media channels. We'll post a little bit more on it. Follow us on X, the Everything app, and TikTok.
Yes.
And don't forget Instagram. We've had Instagram for a while. We'll start posting more. Follow us on Instagram at PuffDrinkTalk.
.com. No, so Dylan brought up what were some of the other things that have been showcased and highlighted at CES.
Yes.
That event. Mm-hmm.
So we have a new electric car company, and I know they've shown off their technology before, and I forget the name of it, but it's a Chinese electric car company. But
BYD?
It was BYD.
BYD.
It was BYD. But their new supercar, the suspension on the supercar actually jumps over potholes.
Really?
Did you see did you watch the video?
So I watched the video of it, and you're talking about a vehicle going 120 kilometers an hour, and there's a giant pothole in front of it.
Jumps 6 feet, right?
And the
So
vehicle
you saw the video?
I saw it 6 feet.
jumps
But it's just this,
over it.
this much from the floor.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
much
yeah, it
from the
doesn't
floor.
have to go high. It just has
Just-
to...
Just much from the floor. But that's not the most impressive. The second part is more impressive,
So it's,
right?
it's using a camera to read stuff in front of it in the road, and if there's an obstruction,
This is the first step to flying.
it's the first
For me,
iteration.
that's the closest I've ever seen of a flying car in the future. Like, really. You know, because this is the first jump. Just the way I imagine people trying to build airplanes, right? You try a small jump, and then I think is the first step.
Maybe not fly, but hover. Because if they
Yes,
can jump like
yeah,
6 feet,
yeah.
they're like they touch
Like
and
the
then
Wright
they go
brothers.
like a bunny. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
little bunny hop.
Like a little bunny hop.
Exactly. That's life imitating
Life.
yeah, life too.
Life imitating
Wildlife.
nature. Yeah, wildlife. So yes, that was highlighted by BYD. I thought that was really interesting. So, I mean, Tesla, you have some competition as far as what BYD is doing.
Oh no, yeah.
That's a huge.
This is one of the reasons. Also, the tariffs are going to be there.
Yeah.
He's gonna have it some time to breathe, you know, before all this thing goes away. But when the tariffs go down, then he's gonna have a problem.
Possibly.
Yes, that's gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Because they're selling cars for $10,000.
Yeah. In China,
Much worse, but at least you have the option.
you do have an option of getting
You
a
know.
vehicle. Some of the other tech, transparent TVs. I thought that was
I
interesting.
sent a video the other day to the group, an image about that too.
Yes, you did, which is very interesting. And I know I brought that up to one of my friends today, and he goes, "What's the point of something like that?" And I believe it would just be more of like a showcase, a centerpiece, something that you would have at the table right here. We would be having
of
a
art.
discussion. It's a piece of art, and you would have flames.
Transparent TV.
And you and I would still be able to look and see at each other, have a conversation, but there would be like a fire, image underneath of it. And it's transparent.
Sometimes I think the best technology is when there's zero want, and then just creating it also creates the want. Like somebody sees something, they're like, oh, I want that, but they don't really know why or
Yeah.
what they would use it for.
Because that is the FOMO, is fear of missing out.
But then, just the first thing you could think of is like, oh, you put a little fireplace. Well, 5 years from now, think about all the stuff they'll be doing because you've had all this time to think about it.
Right.
And I love it.
I think it's cool.
$14,000? I don't love it for $14,000.
No.
But what do we know about technology? New things come out over time. They figured out to get cheaper. Production will increase.
Scale.
Yeah.
Well, and
Volume.
and to that point, it wasn't just one company that came out with it. It was two companies that came
There
out
you
with
go.
the exact same
Competition.
thing. So now, LG's selling it for 14.
Sell for 11.
Samsung was selling it for 14. LG's like, oh, we'll sell it for 10. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
You guys think that's a great price to pay for our transparent TV? So you're absolutely right. Now you have more companies competing against each other. Price
It's
will come down.
so hard to assess how much R&D affect the price. Like, it's especially in a product like that. You know, like, is it gonna pan out?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. Like, when you saw the first flat TVs, I knew it would be a success.
Yeah.
We knew it, right? But this one, transparent.
But they were like this big.
Yes, but transparent.
Another thing that's coming out is a really, really high definition, an 8K foldable TV. So it's multiple panels that fold out seamlessly, but then they fold together. And this is kind of what a lot of higher end apartments, sport or venues are doing now. They'll have a giant pole base where the TV will be rested in, and then say it's time for football, it's time for a sporting event or something like that. It
You pull it out.
It pulls out itself. It's all mechanic. It raises up and then it
Stretches out.
expands. Yes,
Wow, that's cool.
It unfolds. So it folds in on itself to go in, and then it pops out. And
I
then all
love the
screens that
I
are
love the
displayed.
flexibility. You know that how it's adjustable. But how about all the cracks? You know, like, does it
Seamless.
It's seamless.
Is it?
Seamless.
Yeah, you won't see
Because
that.
in phones,
Seamless.
man, in phones after 6-7 months, all these folding phones.
Sometimes I see
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
and I
Do you understand what I'm
wonder
saying?
if it's real, because it'll be like a panel, and then a guy will come in and he'll like kind of cut out like a square, and then he pulls it out and it disconnects. All the other video's still working, and he like pops it back in, and then it all connects back again. So it's like new technology that they're using to connect all this stuff that is I don't understand it, and I looked into it, but from my understanding, you don't see lines. Like it is seamless.
Star Wars predicted that a long time ago because they had that communication thing that people would pop up. So, you know, Star Wars had that.
Like FaceTime?
Yeah. No, remember they have like a
Oh,
little
like a hologram.
Yeah, hologram kind of thing. So
Yep.
that's what they're trying to mimic with that.
It's funny you
In
brought
the
that
center
up.
of the table. And
Why is
to
it
me,
funny
it's
that I brought that? I
That's
always,
funny that you brought that up, because holographic imaging was something that holographic projector was something that was also on display at CES. That
Okay.
they're hoping to kickstart into the holographic world.
Let me say something about UT. Right, Tamidis had her
Yeah.
classes in 2021
Yeah.
because of the COVID. The guy used a hologram in class. Not
The technology's there. Hologram
Yeah.
technology's always been there for years.
The university, I understand it's like an executive NBA, you know.
They had
like
in Star
NBA,
Wars.
you know. So
Yeah.
Well, do you
what I'm
remember,
saying is that it makes sense, right? It makes sense.
The
These
galaxy
universities.
far away.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So this is a little bit different. Holographic technology has been there, but this is basically making it like to the consumer,
yes.
not where it's just like a company
Like
putting.
you just said, it was at UT.
Because
Exactly.
did you see
Macombs,
Maybe-
you know.
2012 or something, Coachella, when they had Tupac perform with the holograph?
Yes. Yeah.
It's been around. That's 12 years ago, 13 years ago, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. It wasn't great then. Now we're technology that people can use at home. That's a huge leap, though.
Think about that. I know I read.
I'll look that up.
I read comics. I read a lot of comics, and I was always, why don't they make movies? I was a kid, right? And then in the late 90s and in the beginning of the 2000s, they had the technology to do all the Marvel and DC movies.
Yeah.
Same thing. The same thing for absolutely everything. Yeah.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
What is the first thoughts on the cigars?
Don't like mine.
No. Yes.
I put mine down.
Yeah.
I
Put it down. Yeah.
I can't. It's making me sick.
Don't
Yes.
I
You
get
like
another
another
one?
I believe that.
No, I'm okay.
I believe that. I believe that.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
I have a theory that these small cigarillo size, they put stronger tobacco in it because you're going to smoke a smaller one and they're trying to like deliver a punch. Every time I smoke a cigarillo, not like a Swisher Sweet or a Backwoods or something, but like a cigar brand that makes a small one, they always pack a freaking punch.
Yes.
And it's such a small delivery system that makes me think they have to be putting
I believe so,
stronger
yeah.
tobacco or something in there because they're expecting you to want the same feeling with a shorter time. So whatever they're using, it's strong.
I had the same experience that you had.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not.
I didn't say anything to not spoil, like,
Right.
and then it just happened, like,
You're like,
huh?
He offered it to you and said, "Good luck, Chuck."
thanks. Yeah, George is like, did he die yet? Is he gonna die?
No,
I gave
because
him the
he's sitting there
poisonous
waiting,
one.
just like,
Yeah.
Tamir's
He gonna
likes
throw
it.
up?
Tamir's, so that's the
Man,
thing.
it's so strong.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit! I'm going like, maybe I'm weak. Maybe something's wrong with me because last week
So
Dehydrated.
yeah, maybe I'm dehydrated or something. But I was like 2 puffs in, I'm going, holy shit, this is killing, dude. It's way too strong. I'm gonna throw up.
That triple Lajero from last week got me a little bit too. Sort of like the halfway point. I was like,
Yes. Yeah.
this one packs a punch.
No, but this is how you feel about that too. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sure.
All
This
right.
one here is too strong for me. Very peppery. The first third here, very peppery. Not a lot of fun.
What's interesting?
Not what I expected.
I like
not like a good
spicy and peppery foods and things, but I've come to learn lately in cigars, I don't actually prefer a heavy note of pepper. I don't mind pepper
Yes.
being present, but I don't like it to be the forefront of the flavor because it
Yes.
overpowers everything.
Yeah.
And especially if you happen to be dehydrated, mouth dry, whatever, it just impacts the whole flavor way too much.
And Nicaraguans.
Well, they're known for that.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing about and it's not every Nicaraguan cigar, but that is like that's a thing with Nicaraguan tobacco. It's got a peppery note to it.
Especially the wrappers. Yeah,
Especially the wrappers.
Especially
So,
the wrappers.
Well,
Yes.
and you taste a lot more of the wrapper than you taste of other
Yes.
things. So,
I feel bad. I'm thankful for you giving me the cigar, but I feel bad that I got
Chop it.
like literally 4 puffs out of it before
Kidding?
I almost died.
Man, no.
like, it's still good for someone else to have.
Yeah.
Carol would like it.
Yeah, give it her.
Tamarius, Carol, Hilton,
Yeah,
later
yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Don't mind if I do.
Somebody's treasure. Somebody's treasure.
That's right.
Is that trash talk? All right.
I'm loving my cigar. This is being aged, right? Because
Yeah.
we got it quite a few.
I mean, this is
probably
borderline
last-
a year.
Yeah. And it's delicious,
Delicioso.
Delicioso.
I really like this cigar. It's I say the Pledge is my number 1 and this is my number 2 now because I degraded the Brazilian gold to number 3. But this is really
I
good.
think I would agree with you on
There
all of
from-
that
from
because
within.
I've always been La Aroma de Cuba fan. I'm also a big Fuente fan. I had my first Brasilia with you and my first Pledge with you guys. Both of those, to me, it's hard. It depends on the day and what you're feeling, but those are all like cigars I would constantly want. Is an Aroma de Cuba, a Carrillo Pledge, and
The CEO Brazil.
the CAO Brasilia, and we even have
No, it was your name written there. That was taking a picture of you. No.
these
They were.
Reservas
Reserva.
for later. These have been aging as well. Same cigar, but Reserva.
Yeah, that's even better.
that-
those have been
one
aging, and I'm
that one is
interested.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, in case you're ever wondering whose computer it is.
Pictures.
Who's doing
For
it?
thumbnails.
Yeah.
All
Get
right.
my good side.
I have it like 360 cameras, so don't worry. You can choose.
So yeah, so that were some of the highlights of CES. I know one thing that
You see, I just explained to you. I just show you this.
yes,
I don't even understand.
I don't either.
Dylan, can
Give
you
myself.
try to speculate what this is gonna do?
The end of GPS, quantum navigation explained. So,
Like the end of GPS? What's that? Like you're gonna feel you're moving to the north?
Yeah,
That would be cool. Like my body is moving to the north. I know my body is moving to the north.
no, I don't know.
What?
I know quantum. Okay, I'm not an expert. I know quantum mechanics. I know like how quantum things work. Quantum GPS, I would need context and like I need someone to explain what it does differently than regular like satellite GPS, like what it's doing. typically quantum refers to like where something is getting like a power source from, and then like there's even like quantum like computing,
Yes.
and like the level of where it falls with GPS in particular. I don't know how they're using that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm interested to learn because GPS is what is global positioning system.
Yes.
So how would quantum mechanics apply? I'm sure there's a reason.
Physics.
It's a physics
Quantum,
thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good subject to talk about, probably more in depth. I need to look into that a little bit more, so I feel like
That's
I'm not
why I
retarded.
said it. Look, what I did, I pick up like what 10 photos that I took from a week, from the whole week, and I separated every time. Okay, I have this idea, and that's why I sent it. So I'm gonna send it earlier to you guys because this kind of topics, I knew that you would talk about that, so I would complement
Yes,
using that.
absolutely.
You know, so
So I I pose a question to everyone. What is there a future tech that anyone's excited about that they've heard rumors of, or something that they wish would come out at some point? Is there any future tech that brainstorm, throw an idea out here, make a startup company right here?
revolutionary or evolutionary?
Both.
I don't know if it already exists, but I thought about this a long time ago. Like the same way you have a Roomba, why can't we have a little Roomba like lawnmower?
There are.
But now there are. But I thought about this years
Yes.
ago.
Oh.
So now you're thinking of like the Facebook glasses. What's it going to take to get contact lenses?
I'm gonna tell you something. I was thinking.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, no, of course, yes. The Vision Pro has a correction. So if you have any problems when you wear Vision Pro, it corrects it for you, even when it's like you're watching something or only seeing the
Thank you.
streets.
So if you have like a
So it's like
stigmatism,
Yes,
or
they adjust everything. They adjust everything for you.
Wow.
Like when you put it in your eyes, it reads it. Oh, it's you. It's Dylan, right? So then it fixes right away.
This begs the question: could the Apple Vision Pro give you like a certified eye exam, where you don't have to go to the
It will.
optometrist anymore?
It will.
And then
Sure, it will.
could that be in insurance networks where it's like I am just going to pop this thing on and it's going to give me my prescription, and now I can go online and buy contacts or buy glasses or
That's what.
that's about as
what Apple
revolutionary
did.
as you could.
Yeah.
Do you
That's pretty cool.
remember Field of Dreams?
Kevin Costner?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you build,
They will come.
they'll come.
Yeah.
That's what I believe Apple tried to do right now, because we are not there yet for this technology.
Correct.
But they threw it there for ideas like this. So you have an idea. Some people might have investments, and to throw ideas like that. I totally agree with you.
The main downside with Apple Vision Pro is it's
Big.
kind of clunky in a way. It's
Massive.
heavy and it's almost too ahead of its time, and the
Yes.
developers haven't put stuff out yet. It's got so many limitations right
Yes.
now of all the things you can use it for, and a premium price tag to buy it. So you spend all this money and you can only do so many
So much.
things. That the next best thing's going to come. If that doesn't start picking up soon, it's going to
gonna
end up
die.
like the Google Glasses,
Yes.
and it will just die.
It's a console without the games.
yeah.
To be
Basically.
honest,
So what do you do? It's a paperweight.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
saw not too long ago, and exactly that, like because nobody's developing anything because it did not sell well. Probably price tag, probably like it's a little bit of weird looking when you put that on. People they couldn't explain what it was, but they're saying
Social
that
shame
development
very
is
common in
already
these cases, yeah.
pulling out, for the Apple Vision Pro. So so who bought and never opened it is gonna be valued a lot of money in the future, because it's gonna be a rare thing.
Yeah.
Because
Which
and like for example, I was
we
looking.
thought of doing, never did it.
We have video proof of it. of
Exactly,
this
we thought about
conversation.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing, like in comparison,
to talk to you
the
about that.
Ferrari 360 CS 2004 and the Porsche GT3, right, 2004. Porsche, it's so much cheaper used than the Ferrari. It's like 3 times the amount. Ferrari is like, you can find one, but it's going to cost you $500,000. And the Porsche is going to cost you maybe 150, 200,000. Just because of that, because they only made like 500 Ferraris.
Right.
And Porsche G3. The company made more money because it caught on, and then they kept on making it. So the company made more money from the same car. Ferrari decided not to make as much money. So
Yeah, cement their legacy into something.
and then people that bought it now has more money.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
No, you're listening. I agree. I agree with what you said.
Is there any tech that you're excited about or you wish would come out?
Yeah, printing money for me free of charge.
I would. I
There's
just
no
thought
free lunch, my friend.
Tesla's been working on it. I think I am interested in more advancement in this full self-driving cars, or maybe like Ford, Toyota. Everybody has like.
Buy the idea.
Yeah, and
I
then,
saw one today in the morning.
and then maybe like a type of interface where all these different manufacturers of cars and a similar operating system where they can communicate with each other, where they can still. It's a slippery slope where the technology gets too good and they will take away your right to drive. And so I don't really love that, but I just think it's a cool idea. And like the technology is kind of exciting. It's like hop in a car. You have a driver, so to speak. Your driver's just your car, and you're in the back. You can do work, business meetings, whatever you need to do. I have a long road trip. I don't really feel like driving. I want to take a nap. Family road trips. I don't have to drive anymore. We can all turn around and play board games on our way there if we're not going to take
I was going to say that you're not sitting in the back. It's a lounge style.
Yeah, and it turns around.
Yeah.
So it's like we're all facing each other. We put a table in the middle. We can play.
A podcast.
You can do a podcast on the road. You can do whatever. I find that very interesting. I just don't know that I love the implications of taking away, which is my own opinion. It's the opinion of many people, though. Like as that technology gets better, we will become obsolete as drivers, and then it'll take away the freedom of being able to drive. You'll still be able to drive on a closed circuit, but it's not the same.
Well, probably what will happen is if there's an accident, were you driving? Okay, your insurance premiums go up because the vehicle can drive itself, and it would have accurately avoided this situation. It would have
Financial implications.
yes, the financial. Oh, okay, your social credits. We're gonna
And
take
think
some
of all the
that away.
sensors and things that car would have to have. Now your
What kind of
insurance company is
sensors?
going to read it all.
What
Quantum.
quantums.
But your insurance company will have access to all of that. So now it's maybe it'll make it really cut and dry whose fault an accident was. And, maybe that's for the better, but
Almost, yeah.
The world is black and white, and I think a lot of us operate in
Almost
the gray.
like Minority Report. Like,
Yes.
like you'd be able to see it happening at this, like with all the cameras, you'd be able to triangulate the cameras and have the full image of everything that is happening everywhere, anywhere, all the time.
All the time.
Except,
Think about the impact on crime that had just CCTV. All the places we have cameras nowadays, that will improve. People used to steal gas from the gas pump all the time. Steal everything.
Wires and, like all the materials, copper,
yes. So people talk about that all the time now. Older people are like, yeah, back in my day I used to do this. Nowadays you can't do anything because there's cameras everywhere. But the smart people know where the cameras aren't. And they still find a way. So as we keep these quantum sensors and things, like we are getting towards it is really impactful and helpful in some ways, but also it almost feels oppressive. Like you can't do anything in pure privacy.
Vigilance,
there is no privacy anymore.
Well, it's but
except
like
your own home, and that's still not even private.
During the Anthrax thing, remember just after Anthrax, how the American government, decided to investigate every single person, right? So think about that. It's always this freedom versus safety. How do you, counterweight? In which moments you have to do that? Okay, so this is
on that the driving thing. If you think like before, people used to go from point A to point B in horses, right?
Yep.
And then the car came along, and then they learned how to. I mean, people wouldn't even drive the cars. They would have a chauffeur, right? A driver for them. So with the car driving itself, it would be exactly the same thing as the horse transition to cars.
Sure.
And yet some people would say like, yeah, but I like to drive.
Yeah.
It's just because you got used to it. But then, new generations, they will get used to not driving. And that's going to be not a problem at all.
Becomes obsolete.
It's going to be fine. But,
You're right.
you can still...
And you've said that so many other times, and I'm starting to, like, agree with you.
I was going to say the exact same thing, because the first time you told me that, I was real resistant to it.
Yeah.
Like, but I like driving. But I think you're 1,000% correct. Younger kids, like, what do I have to get a license? I got a car that'll drive me. What do I have to drive for? And over time, generations, like, what's the benefit of driving? It's a tool to get me from somewhere. I don't need to physically drive.
I love the pool. Do you have pools? Do you swim every single day in your pool?
No.
No.
How about your bath? Do you have a bath? Do you have a jacuzzi or something?
I poop in a hole.
A bath, right? So how often do you use it?
Not very much. I don't think I've taken a bath.
How about treadmill? You have a treadmill.
Have you seen my body? No, I do not have a treadmill.
Oh no, maybe you have it. Maybe you have it, but people just put it as a hanger or something.
Yeah.
All these things, buddy.
But that's the thing. And like
Right.
today, people want to ride a horse. They go to a farm somewhere, and then they rent a horse, and then they ride the horse. So
Right.
with the cars,
I
it's going
love
to be
it. I
exactly
love
the
this
same
gear.
thing.
Yep.
You're going to have cars for tracks, and they're like more geared to tracks. And then you're going to have track days. And
Safety.
When you are
less
driving,
accident.
what you're driving is going to be so much more capable
exciting.
and exciting, and does exactly what you're
I love
wanting it
that.
to do, because it's its own thing. Yeah, it's not about. It's something that for us it takes a second to wrap your brain around, but for younger generations, well, to get away from what
It's
you're normally
amazing,
been
yeah.
doing. Younger generations, like, what's the benefit of me driving?
Que
And I
baita
was
short.
watching
Isso vai dar.
Landman, incredible show. In this
Right.
most recent episode, they were talking about how John Deere, huge company, they used to make wagons for horses.
How about Nokia? I think was old tires. They work with old tires, and many
Yamaha
companies
makes
transform.
pianos.
Yeah, like you
But
know,
you
like
get smart enough to realize where a market is headed and what the
new
world,
technologies.
and you adjust, which makes me think there's going to be so many more vehicles that are doing full self-driving to the
Yes.
point where
Yeah.
might just. Most people might not even own a car anymore, because what's the point? The ride-share service, you just put in an app and some robot like Tesla, like Elon's been talking, something just comes and picks you up, takes you where you want to go, and there's enough volume. Actually, there would be less traffic, because out of the 400, 500 million people that live here, we don't need 2 cars per household. Some households have 12 cars. So there's so many cars on the road. You call something, it picks you up, takes you from point A to B. That's solving an issue where there's with traffic.
The principles of Uber also goes towards that. I think it solves less than what you're suggesting. Because the
Uber solves less?
yeah, but Uber's ultimate game is to, is survive until they get to the automated cars. That's the ending game for them. They had to work with people for some time. They have to put up with people for some time, right? Now I think all these improvements, they will generate way less traffic for one more reason. People are working more from home too.
Yeah.
So at the same time that you're gonna have it alternate transports like you were suggesting, we are staying more time at home.
Yep.
So the traffic, I think we got to our peak into 2019. I think our peak is going to be 2019.
I drove a lot today. I drained the battery of the car, so I had to stop and recharge, which rarely happens. And if I had not the need to drive, I could be with a laptop working Like in between one place to another that I went to measure houses. I could be writing the quotes and sending out the quotes. Do you know what I mean? In between, that, like there was one place that I drove, I was 40 minutes away. I can easily put a quote together in 20 minutes.
That's my routine since 2013. That's my job.
Yeah.
Since 2013, whenever I wanted, however I wanted.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, if I had a car that would drive me, I would be possibly making business happen faster. Economy would be,
there's more stimulation. You're looking at a mobile. You're changing the module idea of a car to a mobile office. That it's an office because it's a means of getting me from point A to point B, and I'm using it the same way I would at a brick and mortar office space. My home office. Nothing's changed. I just have to go somewhere, but it's a vehicle that takes me. It has Wi-Fi. I have my laptop out. I don't even face the front. I've got a desk.
Yeah, and it's like I have to pay for a car anyways, right? As a company, right? So I could own my own car. I wouldn't need to rely on the services as a person that's going to work, coming back from work. But me, having the company for me, for Dylan, for Carol, or whatever, like we are going out to run quotes and whatnot. We have the car driving ourselves, and then we are doing business in between visits.
Yeah,
it's more effective.
It gets to a counterintuitive point that maybe it's better that we start building a little bit larger cars so we could create an environment inside the car, moving one side to the other. No, seriously, no, small cars are better. No. Maybe safe because of safety, because I can use this time for something. Then I created a seat. It's like arrangement in the car that I can. But you have to expand a little bit to the sides of the car, which is absolutely counterintuitive, right?
Venues, you go to watch a NBA football game, whatever. You can make that stadium and make it twice as big. You don't need that huge parking lot anymore. The car brings you and it drives itself back home, and you time it to come pick you back up, or there's another car that'll pick you up. Like, that's what Elon was talking about in one of his rideshare things. Like, you're minimalizing space for
maximizing the space you have. Right?
Well, you're minimalizing the space for storage of a vehicle that sits there and does nothing, and maximizing usable space. Now you could have much more interactive, like a theme park football stadium or basketball stadium, or some of those basketball stadiums, there's concerts that are there. So it's like
everything can be closer together.
It can be closer together. Elon's vision was green spaces. So all of the roads, all of the parking lots that you have to have for thousands of vehicles could be reduced.
You could have nature, trees.
Because you could have nature, you could have trees, you could have parks, playgrounds for kids to play outside of the football stadium, whatever the venue is,
More oxygen and then less ozone being
pollution.
Destroyed.
Yes, absolutely.
So are you moving to public transportation now? Is it the way to go for the future?
So but I feel like when you say public transportation, I feel like this is more of a personalized public transportation.
Yeah, but this is what I expect in the future, like small trams, small buses, small airplanes, all tiny, like thousands and thousands, I think.
There's always going to be a market for that, because having your own is still going to be a premium. It's still going to be a luxury, even if you don't own a Mercedes-Benz, not a luxury vehicle, but just owning your own vehicle and using it for your things, it actually could make money for you when you're not using it. Other people could use that as a ride share.
But there's one thing that for me is the most important thing. How much do you love your Tundra?
I love it, yeah.
Like, it's an extension of your house.
Yes.
Isn't it? Like, it's instantaneous, like the way you get in, get out. Man, it's so comfortable. I don't know. How do you in a mentality in the United States, how do you change this mentality that is It is an
Time.
extension of it.
I was just
Yes.
going to say, I
But
think
then
it's
it's yours?
a time thing.
Yes.
As far as letting someone else use it?
Yes. I'm
It's
just
the
trying
same thing as,
bringing another,
The home that you live in and the home that you list on Airbnb.
What was that?
There's feelings attached to it. If I didn't have feelings attached to my Tundra, then it would just be. I mean, it's the same thing. Like if you were
have more
like
than one, guys.
if you sold your house, you would want to maximize the amount of profit that you would get it off of it because there's a emotional value to
Yeah.
it.
Which is
But if it was from a company, someone who just cared, like, yeah, this is the value of it. This is how much we need to make so we
Yes.
don't get in the red. We're black
Yeah.
on this.
That's
Yeah.
So
what
we're going to sell it for this.
I think of it this way too. What's the app where you like rent a car? Is it Turo or
Turo, yeah, Toro.
Turo.
Yeah.
So Uber's starting to do that now too. You can
Yeah.
rent cars on Turo.
Yes.
On Uber.
Yes.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Uber
that.
rental. Uber rental.
Uber rental.
Huh,
So they're getting into
interesting.
that market. So most of the people that have a car that they're listing on that is probably not their personal car that they're using. It's another car.
Yeah, of course.
So you love your Tundra.
Yeah.
That's your Tundra. That's what you're going to use.
I would never.
Maybe you buy something else, and that's the car that you also own.
Exactly.
And you use other
Like a
times.
house, yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
an investment.
Second house.
So the
yeah.
house that you own and you're putting on as a rental house or Airbnb, you don't live in that house. Some people do. It depends on where you're at in life. So some people, their main job is Uber driving. I drive people around in Uber, and it's also the car that I take if I want to go on a road trip. There's people that I own my apartment, I own my house, but now I'm out of town, and while I'm out of town, I'll rent it out. They probably don't have that same they need to make money. It's not their emotional attachment to it.
Right.
But once you develop that emotional, you don't want to let other people use it, but you get another car. And now this car, I have a car note, but it's an event. I make money off my car note. It costs me $700 a month, but I make $1,500 a month just letting other people drive it. I'm making $800 a
There
month.
is
Yes.
there is a transition on everything, right? So, for example, right now we're going through a transition between internal combustion, hydrogen, electricity, right? So that thing is happening right now, and as I said, for example, the car that I drive, I don't care much because I drive it for the business. That's why I bought it. It's not the car that I need to fall in love with. The
No
car
attachment.
the car that's really really nice is my wife's car. That's really nice, and that's internal combustion V8. Huge SUV, comfortable, faster than this one,
Keep it clean.
and it keeps clean at a certain level because I have
We got kids.
kids that they make a mess everywhere. But
That's not what I meant, but yes.
Those variables.
there is a
Yeah, that's
transition.
life.
There is a transition to everything. Right now we feel that way with the things that we own.
Attachment.
But yes, the attachment. But the future generations, like for example, my daughters, your kids, right? They might not need to get attached to a car because it's not the thing that they're gonna be like, I have to get to my work, and I don't own the company. I work for somebody else. I just need to get there, right? And then they go like, I can buy a car and have to pay for that car, pay for the insurance, and pay for everything, or I can spend at least 30% of that amount if I just order it in the morning and order it in the afternoon.
Yep.
They are gonna go like, I don't need to have a car until I get married, and then I will want to do road trips and whatnot.
Sure.
And then, as a family, we can buy one car for those situations, but the car can still make money for you. And then like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna order somebody to come to my house, a mobile detailing a car company. They'll come clean the car for you and have it ready for you, because you can turn it on and off, the renting aspect of it.
Yeah.
So
Like a toggle switch. And it's interesting because the way our kids will grow up watching that change happen. I don't have kids yet, so as this transition, they grow up in such a different world. And I grew up and cell phones were a thing. When you grew up, cell phones might not have been a thing. Or iPads, all the things and so now it's like, to a degree, some things are taken for advantage, but also I have noticed a trend with some of my younger cousins. They were not that interested in getting their driver's license. Now that I think about it,
Just to illustrate,
they didn't care that much.
Just to illustrate, the first cell phone was shown by Carl Lewis before 100 meters in 1992. So 1992, I was 17.
I was.
So I heard about the first cell phone in the Olympic Games, 1992.
I was just.
No.
You get this memory, like
Cell phones were from the 80s.
no,
just a
cell
concept.
phone like that. That's
Not attached to like a vehicle or like a personal, like
Yeah.
you could hold
Yes,
it on
like,
with you,
yeah,
not
the
in a
first
briefcase.
Mobile
Cellular
bricks.
cellular
Yes. Yeah,
phones
big one.
from the 80s, 70s even. Cellular
yeah,
phones.
yeah.
Cell phones like a mobile phone, it's in the
Keyword
90s.
mobile.
Yeah.
That's not how they were
Yes.
marketed, but that is the
1992
key
was
word
the
of it.
there's a famous like
That is
he
interesting.
runs like 100 just to warm up with the phone. It's like what is that? Big buzz because 2 billion people were watching it, right?
Right.
So then they launched the phone
I also-
right there.
I think it takes
One of the
like,
biggest launches I've ever seen in my life in any product in the world.
It's a great.
Well, it's become everybody has to have it nowadays. No one doesn't have a phone. Some 3-year-olds have a phone. Might not work, doesn't have a plan, but they play with a phone. Everybody
Yes.
has a phone, so it's just indoctrinated into the way we live life. But you almost have to reshape your brain with cars and other things of like that attachment. Imagine you had a pair of shoes. And now I'm at work. I'm sitting in an office. I don't need shoes anymore. So then you rent them out to somebody else. They need shoes for the next couple. That concept sounds crazy because it's your personal, but it doesn't really have to be that way with a car. Like you use it for something and then it just sits there. It's yours. You like it, but if you think of it as an investment,
yeah.
you don't have to buy the one. I just need something. It's
Sure.
changing the social impact too, because there is a social thing. You see somebody drive up in a really nice car. Oh, this guy, the status of it all. You're still going to have something like that, but that's not the tool that you're using every single day.
Probably
Like a daily driver versus.
no.
So it's just a different. So I just think there's a big market to that is just now starting to be explored. Even though we've had Uber and Turo and all these things.
Yes.
You just mentioned the Daily Driver. That is a channel that I watch on YouTube.
Off Drink Talk
Alex
podcast.
But drink talk.
as well. Alex also something like that.
Shout out.
Yeah, and then they always go like, "What is your daily?" And then, well, I bought these as a daily because it can hold my equipment. It's the same as the Tesla is my daily. But it's not the car that I'm in love with,
Right.
I don't care much about it, One thing, it's the same.
Dazzle.
You will have
Somebody's dream car, though.
yes, and then, but that's what I'm saying. You will have a car that you're gonna keep on the track that you bought it to go and enjoy driving.
Yes.
And then driving as it should be driven, like with speed and cornering, you know what I
And
mean?
then you break something, you take it back home, you work in the garage for the next 2 weeks, and then you tune and tweak,
You're not
and then
buying
you
a
take it
car.
back out there.
Then you're not buying only a car.
You're buying an investment. You're
Yeah,
buying,
yeah,
buying peace of
buying-
mind.
That's what I'm
Maybe
saying,
your
it
hobby,
changes.
Yeah.
part of
Well,
your
you-
hobby. So this, I think this detachment, I think is the hardest thing for this kind of investment.
And then-
like,
'cause you're not-
people commit to invest on this.
The item isn't changing. What's changing is the way you think about it, the way you interact with it. But in and of itself isn't changing it.
The
You're-
emotional interaction that you have with that.
You're treating it as a tool now,
But
like a
my-
power drill.
I just drew a few things here because it's exactly my view is a little bit more fluid than that.
I'm sure.
When I mentioned bigger cars, because I would like my car to actually attach to my house,
Okay.
and it would become a room for my house. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's part of my house, my office, maybe.
That's actually a pretty cool idea.
So you just go there and you
That's
attach
future.
to that. And then it goes all along to my first idea, which is connected to that, but it's
It's like the International Space Station. It comes in and it docks.
which is cleanliness and hygiene. I think the future for hygiene and cleanliness is going to be big. So think about that. You have a wall there, right? So through this wall to your house, you remove your clothes, or it cleans out everything. You go through the door or to whatever, and then you are inside your house. You're completely clean.
So it's so funny that you bring that up, because last year or 2 years ago at CES, LG came out with LG Home, and that's exactly what they had. Was that
they promised, right?
They promised that it was you had like your door, you come in, and then you have I think it's called like an easeway, something before you get into your actual house, and that's where you would take off your clothes, your jacket, your shoes into a special closet, and they would sanitize it.
Yes.
And then you would decontaminate everything from outside. Then you come inside your house.
Sanitization. That's basically what I'm...
It's called foyer.
Foyer.
Yeah.
It's like an easement. Do you think there's some major world impact that led to this technology? Something...
COVID definitely was an opportunity for everything to be sanitized.
And I would say that I would start maybe with the bathrooms.
For that?
You know, like maybe bathrooms. Then hospital, the entrance of the house. Then hospital. Think about how much you would avoid diseases getting in and getting out from a hospital.
You know, sorry.
It comes down to effectiveness. If it's that effective, then I think it would have a great impact.
Yeah.
Some of these things, I'm not the person that would know how to measure that, but someone could measure the impact. Is how much is it making a
Billions
difference?
in disease, not days not worked. You know, manpower, billions.
You have an operation and you're surgeon. As of today, as far as I know, I do not believe that they walk in a room and they do this. They're desanitized. They sit there and they scrub in.
Yeah.
Because there's a different level of hygiene and cleanliness and decontamination as a requirement.
Sterilization.
Sterilizing it.
Sterilization.
There is a standard that has to be met.
Sure.
So obviously, coming home and going into surgery, there's different standards,
so different
for that.
Products.
But
too.
I'm wondering what's the efficacy of that technology. How effective is it? Because the more effective it gets, then you're starting to talk about that's a real life practical replacement for my shower. For this, I just walk in, I do this, and this is absolutely clean. Whatever it does.
Do you understand? So this is the kind of this is why health.
I don't know that we're there. It's interesting.
Sanitization, I think.
We don't need bathrooms anymore.
Yeah.
We all just have catheters and
shit your pants.
Maybe.
Yeah, you shit and it goes to the
maybe
iCloud.
Maybe we find out a way that we don't waste anything. Maybe we don't waste anything anymore.
You send it to Pluto, then.
Your body absorbs exactly everything what you need.
Quantum sensors that.
No, your quantum inside of you. The quantum say, "Hey, you need to eat exactly these food at this time," and then you don't shit anymore.
That's
you
always
don't pee anymore.
Been a contemplation I've had of like space travel and it's like Star Trek where they would like beam me up, Scotty, and you could just like teleport, like teleportation. If we have the capabilities of doing that now, I really feel like they would just put all of our trash and just teleport it somewhere else.
They are doing that to the space.
All right, so what if it's like I'm just gonna send it even further out?
Yes, yeah.
It's
somebody else's
but
problem.
It's not my problem. Yeah, so it's like some of these things are just kind of they're interesting. It's a cool concept.
Who needs walls when you have teleportation devices? Yeah. We'll send all of the illegals back to their home country, step on the pad, and get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here.
And this is just one crazy theory for the future, because
it's gonna be great.
Think about that. We are getting to our limits with this carcass, So if we want to travel faster, if we want to do something else, we have to change this body. We're going to have to transfer our minds to robots, to androids, to, you are going to be...
We got to get to Mars eventually.
Now you're talking about something that I understand better, where it's like, you're downloading your consciousness and you're putting it in something else that doesn't produce waste daily. hourly.
Exactly.
I gotta get up to pee. I gotta go poop. I gotta whatever. Now I gotta change my. I need an oil change. You know, mechanical parts.
Dylan, how many times here in the business we talk about it creates so much trash all the time. You go into customers' houses, demoing old carpet, putting new floors, and it creates so much trash all the time.
Crazy.
It's incredible. It's just incredible.
Huh.
Just inside the coming to work on a daily basis, we produce waste.
Man,
The trash never
what's
stops.
going to happen when all the Asian countries that buy all the garbage from America and Europe because they sell it, or when they say
That's
when,
such a crazy thing.
yeah, well, okay, so they buy boats and boats, and man, I'm talking about
Containers and
containers. So what's going to happen?
That ships.
What's gonna happen when they go to shit or they say, "Stop! I don't want to buy this anymore," because they make money out of that. But at what price? You know, like what's gonna happen when the sewage, you know, gets stuck? It's
Like
I-
Hilton's always said, whenever there's a problem and then shit really hits the fan,
Somebody will fix it.
someone will fix it.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool.
scientists find
it
a
takes
way.
only one time. It's gonna take only one time. Only
The
one.
best way to clean up the oceans is to throw things in it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be so polluted, they're like, we need to clean up. I became a little bit addicted on watching rivers in India being cleaned up,
I'll never go to India.
and it's incredible.
Yeah, because of that simple thing, like it's just so dirty.
Cut it.
Yeah.
Sorry. For all our Indian viewers, I know we have a few. I've never been. Maybe I'm ignorant.
Yes.
I'm not interested.
But that's the thing is like
Prove me wrong.
They messed up so much that now
Like the guy
there is a
college
workforce
campuses.
cleaning it up,
Crowder.
and it's incredible because
Yeah.
it cleans up.
That's
It's
science.
like 500 people cleaning up the rivers, just cleaning it up, and then it that's the thing. And when it gets to a certain point, it's like, well, it's unbearable right now. We got to do something about it, and it gets done.
Guys, we need to switch gears.
Yes.
News and
Brazil.
and then football, because we have football topics.
Brazil.
So we have.
I'm just curious how this technology would impact Brazil.
You know what? I'm gonna save news for next. God damn it! There's so many stuff in the news. But
Go
I
for
feel
it.
like if
I
I
want to
bring
pee
it
real
up,
quick.
Conrad's news.
Trump wants to buy Greenland. He also wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America,
Correct.
think
And he
that's
wants to merge with Canada.
and he wants to make
He wants
Canada
Canada
the
to become-
51st state. He
Yes.
even threw in Mexico if they want to do it.
The Panama Canal,
The
right?
Panama Canal.
Even by force, if necessary.
Guys, as crazy as all of this sounds, there is some logic to his madness.
Oh my God.
There is logic behind it. China is trying to control the Panama Canal. So if they get their hands on it, something that Americans built, they're going to start taxing and or completely shutting down that trade route.
So are these thoughts him being defensive or offensive?
I think it's a little bit of both. So if
Going on the offense to prevent the defense later.
So
exactly,
Putin is right. Right?
I'm
Putin
just
is
a
right.
common
By
fan. That's not
invading
for me to
Ukraine, Moldova, and all Latvia. So
I would say if
he's
you're from that
preventive.
region,
So he's by the same thought he's preventing.
yes, yes.
So
maybe he's ahead of his time. I don't know.
yeah. So but we know
there's
what
such-
it is, right? This is the definition of imperialism. The definition of imperialism. Like, expansionism is exactly, oh no, you justify why you should invade 3 countries, change whatever you wanted. This is...
That's the way we know the world today is from
we-
predecessors.
we can
that have
accept
done
that.
such.
I live here. I want to live here. I'm going to be a citizen. But I have to call what it is.
So I mean, we can.
Imperialism is
If
imperialism.
the world was still Pangea and we all lived on the same piece of land, but things separated and Genghis Khan. There are people that have gone out and taken everything that they've gotten. The UK, the British Empire.
But I think Trump,
did they do?
Trump wants that because he doesn't know the Mercator map. He doesn't know about the Mercator map.
I'm sure there's a lot of things he doesn't know, but
so
They're just like, oh, it's almost the size of America.
speaking of,
Just
speaking
kidding.
with Greenland, for an example, Greenland is oil rich.
sure.
Canada, oil
Oil.
rich.
Yes.
So the thought, and I mean, if America merged with Canada, hypothetical, if that was to take place with Canada, GDP would instantly shoot up, or we would become one of the largest production countries in the world. You know, so
Which
from an
has what
economic,
impact?
yeah. So the impact is that I guess it's more of an economic impact.
Well, it reduces
In-
the reliance.
Reliance on tariffs, reliance on taxes,
Imports.
imports, but but George, you're absolutely right. It is
He's calling a spade a spade.
he is trying to think of other alternatives to compete against Russia, to compete against China. And I think that's it, because China and Russia are
I would
working
just.
together.
In
with a lot of
2008,
this.
It's not the same as invading Ukraine, though. I get where you're going with it, but maybe they live in the same world, but one's more extreme than the other. He's not suggesting we go and invade and take Canada.
But what you're gonna do? You're gonna buy the land?
He's negotiating an agreement, and if they say no, what are we going to go? We going to go there and take it? Probably not. He's just opening up a conversation, which is a bit more civilized than
and-
dropping bombs.
And when you think about it, the United States has made some really good purchases in the past. Louisiana
But
Purchase may expanded the United States from coast to coast. Alaska, Hawaii,
Do you
the
like
Virgin
Cajun
Islands.
food?
I like California burritos more than Cajun food.
Would you accept maybe
fuck
that half of the coast of Canada and Washington and
Shit on me, I
Oregon
guess.
become one different country because they have a lot in common? Maybe they become a third country.
Third world?
I don't think it's going to be third world there. Vancouver and that land, Vancouver, Seattle, up to Portland, all this area,
Okay,
up to Idaho there,
became its own country.
because there are suggestions of, because they have a lot in common, from where they came from, the culture, so they suggest having a country there in that region.
And I mean, those types of conversation. I mean, it's.
Right,
I
so-
lived in California for 20 plus years. There was always the
3 Californians.
We wanted to break California into threes
South,
because
North, and California.
yes,
Central.
yes. Because California, exactly. It's the same.
Based on
it's
the
the same-
population, not geographically divided, but based on the population. Los Angeles is like just one. You'll be only one state.
Correct.
Yeah, the Los Angeles area. right?
Yeah, Los Angeles, San Diego area, Southern California. You got the central midsection, which
Yes.
is all farming,
Yes.
agriculture.
And then Santa Barbara up, it would be
North
North,
North California, Central, and Southern. I've heard those talks before. Texas, I mean, has an amendment in its constitution. If they ever want to just not be part of the United States, they can, and they can be their own country.
well,
It's a possibility.
when I said when I compare that, that's what Putin is doing. He's already invaded. What I'm comparing this to invade Greenland and to invade Panama City, Panama country.
So
if they invade both countries, then I would say it's the same.
and
I would say
I
the
would say
Militarily,
I would say military-wise, Panama is probably going to be the first option, just because China has already started trying to go in there and put a stronghold on the canal. So Trump is trying to take back control of it because Panama's
Vietnam all over again.
exactly.
Vietnam all over again.
Exactly.
Same thing. Absolutely the same thing.
But
Korea.
comparing it
also.
to, I mean, that is if
Some of the best food.
that is if the military does get involved. But at the same time,
Serious.
NATO
We love it.
NATO agreed to Russia a long time ago that they wouldn't expand to a certain point. They went against it. Putin said you guys shouldn't do that. You're not upholding what you guys promised and have in writing. And NATO kept pushing, and now they're trying to bring in Ukraine. So Russia had enough. Basically,
there's a lot of history too in that
Man,
region.
20 years ago, Ukraine applied to be part of that, and then America and Germany denied that because of the ties they had with Russia. 30
And
years
the
ago,
risks
20
of
years
it,
ago,
yeah.
And
20
the
years
risks
ago,
of it.
Risks of
Yes.
it.
right? So today we wouldn't have this problem, or we would have a third world war, right? Because they would be invading that. So.
But I
The
don't
problem
know.
is it's not one person making the decision.
Geopolitics is very hard because there's so many elements that we don't know, right? So I have a position, you have a position, one new piece, and then you're right. So this changes everything, right?
In
so,
some way, shape, or form, that's almost like one of the drawbacks to a democratic process too. Is it's not one person deciding these things. So you have a group of people all weighing in on it for the betterment of a lot of people, and they don't always make the right decisions. At the time, they thought that was the right thing to do, which ultimately, maybe it's bit them in the ass. But
In the end, even if Trump does a thing where he's like, let's buy Greenland, it doesn't have to become a state. It could be a territory like the Virgin Islands,
Puerto Rico.
Guam. These are all territories of the United States.
Uh-huh.
You're not U.S. citizens.
Mm-hmm.
You are residents of that country. You just have more political ties and help from the United States.
But now, why we are Denmark? Why would I fucking care what you guys are thinking about it? If I am Denmark.
Well, we're not talking about Denmark. If you're Greenland,
No, yeah, because it belongs
Greenland's
now belongs to Denmark. It belongs to Denmark.
I thought it was Finland.
No, Denmark.
Denmark.
Yes. So do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what this guy's... Oh, okay, so are you gonna give me taxes?
I think it's a
Because
diversion.
if you give me taxes, I'll give you Greenland.
Yeah.
But if you think,
what's your global impact economically?
I don't give a man.
Denmark
I don't give a
versus
fuck
America?
about. I don't give a fuck about okay, Norway, whatever.
I'm sure you don't. That's not
well,
why you're asking it.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I have to put myself into this. You know, like, are you buying a fight against? Denmark?
Obviously,
See, and
no
that's-
one's coming in and taking. I want to buy your land and you get nothing. Obviously, there's something there, but what do you? A global impact. What's your import export? What is economically? What do you do per annum?
I don't
Okay,
think.
where this X
I don't think
times that.
Denmark will never, ever need. They are in a very privileged position, you know, in energies and everything. I would say that a partnership, fear of what? Of being invaded by America?
No, not by America. Just instilling. Not that we are instilling. It's just the idea of the world that you see it today is not always
And
the
it's-
world that it's going
It's
to
close
be.
to Russia because you have Kaliningrad right there.
What happened in World War I, World War II? People start spreading out and taking over territory. So it's just, why does anyone have any alliance with anybody? So you're in this unique position where you can kind of get away with doing your own thing. So I don't know. Test the temperature of the water and see where we're headed. I don't know. I don't have.
No, yeah, because
Somebody
look,
going into this has a reason to.
of course,
And this is kind of what I'm
Even
bringing
think
up
about
too. Is
them.
like there's something happening behind the scenes that's obviously
That's
not
fine.
being communicated to us.
Correct.
I mean, Panama, they've come out and said like China's trying to impose, take control of the canal, which is a huge trade route for the United States and North and South America.
that's war.
That is
It's a declaration
that is
of war.
right?
Yeah.
So and so I understand Trump's idea of like no, we built it. We're going to go in there and start controlling it and stuff like that. Even if Panama, is pushing back and stuff like that, there has to be some kind of like push. Greenland, Canada, buying Mexico, I don't know, to become all one
Congress
country.
will never vote to go to war.
And protection, man. I think
Right.
if you have land protection, the whole thing about pushing all this, the Israel goes to Syria, then Russia goes to Ukraine, is just to keep cushions, to create, to put a lot of cushions between your main cities, in
Yeah.
in land. That's what they do.
Right.
And if you have
Well-
Greenland, all the overseas there, if they are really, if right now, if it's because right now it's very difficult to navigate in those rivers, in those seas
Yes.
up north. But I don't know in 30 years
Oh, as things melt and whatnot.
if
yeah.
it melts,
Well-
it's gonna be very easy to access. So if you
I just
control
think of
that,
a-
I understand this,
But
but
if you take
I don't
away
know.
like government impacts,
I don't know. Like, I just don't get it.
I don't know that's not going to melt, but take away deals. You want something to happen, you're trying to buy someone else, they don't want to do it. Bigger companies, you always find a way to have leverage.
yes.
So I can't force you to sell it to me, but what I can do is make your life very hard. So am I going to invade you? No. But we're going to do this, and
that's
this.
bullying.
It is bullying.
Yeah.
But
And that's
that's
what-
how the world works.
Yes.
And is it fair? No, but the world's not fair. And if it was fair, we wouldn't have wars. But it's not about.
The problem is
I'm not sending troops and
who
taking
is
it.
gonna push back?
I'm going to make life very difficult
Who
for
is
you.
gonna push back? If Panama says, "You see, are you invading me? Okay, so I'm gonna go."
But we're not invading.
No, but he mentions that this is a military operation. Is a
Well, Panama in
possibility.
particular.
Yes.
But you're going to have implications of things. I'm going to make things tougher for you till the water starts boiling. It gets to the boiling point. And that's when more invasion starts happening. But
Think about, man. Look how fucked up America was because of the Vietnam War.
yeah,
America was fucked up. You know, like
yeah.
think about
But Vietnam was just
But then
us,
fast
us
forward-
up helping the French.
what.
We only got involved because of us helping the French. That was it.
Yeah, but then
Well, and
America was protecting
fucking 18-year-olds that went to
advancement
Vietnam
of communism too.
came back.
in the region.
Correct.
Yes.
Right, but it was yeah. So there was multiple factors to it, but I mean,
Started
it
like in the
wasn't.
50s, actually.
Yeah. Yes.
Started-
Can
yes,
I
it
say
did.
something? Okay, so
Yes, of course you can.
you keep on saying. Oh well, I would say geopolitics. It's like a chess play, right? You see 7, 8, 9 play in front of the play that you're doing right now.
Yes.
So basically, potentially, what Trump government it will be looking at is like, well, China has been making these moves. That's going to result on that further down the line. And to prevent that, I have to start doing this because it was overlooked by previous government or whatever. So geopolitics, we only see if it was beneficial
own
or
government.
not, if it was beneficial or not in 200 years time, right? 150 years time, something like that.
Right.
So all of those things, like, you know, it's like Iraq or Iran, right? It's oil and whatnot. So it's a very valuable. So if you're saying that Canada and Greenland is very rich in oil, so probably he still has that a little bit older mindset that we do need oil, right? Instead of, you know, getting resources from the solar
Could
energy.
be lithium. There could be lithium.
Yeah.
Gold mine there,
Well-
and that's if we want to keep going with batteries.
Also,
I don't
the
know.
lobbyists
melts,
for certain
man, if
companies
it-
too, where it's like there's this push towards green energy and electric, but there's a pushback. All this lobbying, oil. They don't want it. They can take all the money they made from oil and invest it into electric, but they're not. It's the same with pharmaceuticals. They're not investing into marijuana. They're not investing into they're
Stem cells.
they're putting their foot down on what their industry is. So there's this resistance to change.
Yeah. So,
And we're not in a period where I think we can support the change yet. So I think it's still valuable to hold oil. But
But that's what I'm saying. So geopolitics, because okay, so I have to make a move in here that's gonna be a winning move. So offering something like that and explaining that to a country, I'm not, you know, going in favor or against. I'm going to say trying to analyze what that could be.
Yeah.
So that's why I let
Sure.
you guys talk about it. But it could just be a sensible things like, oh hey, if China does that, it's going to impact the rest of the world on this and that, and I see that more that if I control, I have a better mindset. Everybody thinks that they are better. I think that I'm more intelligent than anybody else, the same way as you guys think that you are more intelligent than anybody else. So it goes like that. And he is thinking like the US, it's better than any other country in the world. In order to do that, I can try and persuade that country even to be like an independent country, but it's an independent country with strong ties with the US, so that other forces do not control to mess up with what my plan has been for myself and the rest of
for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Alliances are for that.
So
Well,
and there is a just conclude my thought. There is a little bit of like, okay, it's like when you're playing a board game, and then you go like, hey, if you come through here, I'm gonna move my troops over here to protect my. Let's say you're playing like Risk, right? I'm gonna protect my territory here because this is part of my objective, right? So that's how I win this game. So in order to win the game of life, he's playing the cards, he's playing chess, he's playing, something like that. And then that's what, it is, we don't know. We only know what comes out in the news. We don't know the planning behind it, the 7 moves ahead, in the chessboard.
And if I can say one other thing.
No, you cannot say anything.
What is Trump? He's very showboaty. He likes to talk. He likes to throw out these extravagant ideas and thoughts. What has China said over the past couple of years about Taiwan? What has China said about the Philippines? What has China? The exact same thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's this how they rewrote the map of India. China came out and included a part of India in China's map, and then was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." But India's going, "No, this northern part is our country."
They're going to war.
So my point is, China has been doing the exact same thing too. Of like, no, the Philippines are us. Taiwan is ours. Don't worry about it. Putting the world on notice. And I almost feel like this might be kind of like a Trump thing too, of like, no, Canada wants to be part of the United States.
Yeah.
Greenland too. Yeah, we'll just buy them out. No
think
worries.
Think about the 60s.
It's a game.
It's a game.
It's a game.
50s and 60s were the same thing, like all the Russia, like to try to prevent the whole Europe to be, to be communist, all the witch hunts in America against the communists because of this. We've seen this before. This is nothing new. Mm-hmm. We just have to say, okay, so we are expanding countries. We are supporting invading countries.
I like the analogy and the way that
I think alliance is better.
Because it's Trump's playing the board game, and we're his pieces. But he's not the only person who've ever done that before. So there's this. You can demonize him all you want. People have done it. Every president does that, and also presidential power only goes so far.
Yeah.
So it's not an authoritarian government where he says something and that's the truth. That's how it's going to go. He has ideas, and he's opening up a conversation.
A little bit different than China and Russia, where it's a person running it, with full power. Yeah, it's a little bit different. So, and then it's more. I think it's a starting point. If war is to be, happening, if the other, like let's say Panama doesn't budge to the idea to think like, oh, wow, like for example, Brazil right now with the government over there, if the United States would propose something like that, hey, do you want to be part of our Commonwealth? And I would be like, man, why not? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm Brazilian, and I think Brazil would have better rules and regulations, right? Because the way it is right now, it's really bad. So why not? Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, hey, but I'm giving away my what is the word? That's like my my independence, to be part of something. It's the same as like, if somebody.
Sovereignty. That's what you're
Yes,
looking
yeah, sovereignty. So if it's the same as like, so you have like a very small coffee shop, like mom and pop's coffee shop.
For a landscaping company.
Or a landscaping company, right? But let's put a coffee shop, and then a huge chain comes in and say, "Hey, I'd like to buy your business," and then the person is like, "Well, but that's all I have, and so I'll give you a lot of money, and then you can make whatever you want with that money, and then leave, or I'll buy you. I'll be the main shareholder. You keep 10%.
Yep.
But then it's like you'll be parting, like you'll be 10% of something much bigger or 100% of something smaller, but that you have more control.
But you also have the right to choice. You get to decide if that's what you
Can
wanna
I
do or
say
not.
no?
Of course you can say no.
Ukraine couldn't say no.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Ukraine,
But
it's against
Russia
Russia.
with
It's
Ukraine
not the
is not the
United
same.
States.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's the same. Like, for example, what I'm saying.
You watch Landman?
What I'm saying.
If you invade Greenland, if you invade Panama, it's the same thing.
No, but
It's like working with the cartel. You can say no. You don't want to say no, but you can say no.
You can say no. But that's exactly I mean, the world, like, that's what I'm saying. Geopolitics.
It's complex.
It's complex because it's limited resources. So there's only negotiations that can happen. So, and if negotiations don't go anywhere, and the only way you see winning geolocation is by invading, and that's what the more powerful will do with the less powerful.
I will
less.
always be against that.
Yeah, of course, me too. But at the same time, you'd be against that right now, and then let's say in 30 years' time, the other also bigger country invades that, and then you're also against that.
Yes.
You're also against that, and I'm also against that, but they do. And then they do.
But you're creating the results. You're creating
But that's how
not.
they see it, because it's a game. So and then they go like, let's say China then invades Panama, because Panama didn't want to close a deal with either side.
I almost don't even think you're creating that like that. There is a result that is always going to be there. You're changing the landscape of the result. And it's almost like a future visionary way of thinking about it. Like, if you can do something now, or later on, this is going to be what happens. And sometimes maybe you're wrong about that,
Man.
but you're leaving it up to chance.
But look, I understand that, but I want to put it. I will try to show my side on this. Okay, how would you feel? How would you feel about me? I will go there, steal your house. I start using whatever you want. I'm gonna kind of dictate culturally what you have to do in your house. I am in your house.
I know, but you would have
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You
would
will
shoot
fight
you.
back. Exactly.
But who are you and who am I?
Huh?
Who are you and who am I?
Okay.
If Trump came to my house, if Putin came to my house, what is my ability to fight back? If my neighbor came to my house,
I will
he would have a
for
third eye
alliances.
right in the middle of his fucking forehead. He
But I
wouldn't be
will
breathing.
look for alliances. I will start. That's why some countries are connecting to Russia or to China, because like I have more advantages here.
But how do you
some
form an
Arabic
alliance?
country?
I don't walk
By
over to you and
interest.
punch you in the face
It's
and
interest.
say, okay,
It's
now,
by interest.
now this is my territory. No,
It's by interest.
it starts off with you drop little breadcrumbs.
So let me just put that example. Like, okay, so if
I think I should have brought this conversation up instead of CES. This is interesting.
So
Or
every time,
iPhones.
this has to be like a future podcast discussion.
if George invades your house and he's Russia, and
I'm what?
and you are Panama, and I invade your house and I'm U.S. But before I invade, they say, hey, there is a risk of them invading you. Do you wanna do a deal with the
He's
U.S.?
gonna say the same thing though.
I'm
So-
gonna tell him the same thing.
Exactly.
I'm gonna promise more.
So, but
In Russia, I promise more. I won't deliver, but you will fall for that.
I would have to see where do my values align, and then it starts to become outside of values. Well, my values really don't align over here, but they've promised so much more. You start delivering a little bit of that promise. It's almost who gets to you first.
Yeah,
That's
auction?
almost
Are you going to
always.
auction your land?
But then,
You'll
but-
never have the opportunity to auction it.
But then again,
It's gone.
If you were to, for Panama, you do also have to consider it was built by America. Panama wasn't just something that.
They've already paid
but that
1,000 times.
but that's what I'm saying. So
you know,
but then
so it's.
But that's not the.
but then that's then hold on. Let me just
Geography
contemplate
matters.
on that. Yes. So but then it's like, hey, we do have a history together.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
All right.
I helped you, and you did pay everything.
We are talking about negotiations.
Yeah.
Okay, this
And
is
then-
more like non-violent communication.
exactly.
To me, this is the style.
So, and then I say-
yeah.
Hold on, and then I would say, okay, so we do have a history together, and then you're really gonna fall for those guys that keep being lying and look what they've done to Ukraine, and
So-
then it's a matter of negotiation.
But it
So-
is also a matter of geography too. It's like someone's my neighbor, so to speak, and then I've got someone coming from a lot further away. So
And that doesn't
something close.
necessarily use the canal as much as the United States does.
And maybe that doesn't matter when you're talking about money, but if you boil it down to something smaller, I live in a neighborhood, I own one lot, my neighbor actually owns the next 5 lots next to me, 7 lots, and I got someone that owns 7, 8, 10 lots, but they're on the other side of the country, and we're all making, like, you already have a little bit of establishment with your neighbor, to a degree, you know? So it's so
Hold on.
complex.
It is. I want to hear George.
Just,
I love this devil's advocate. Playing the
Yes,
middle.
the idea here is just to debate that, you know, like from
Right.
the other side, you know?
Right.
Because if you suggest an alliance, right? So the thing is, what does the U.S. want it in my land? Because I know that by the time you decided you want it, it's 7 times more expensive than you want it. Whatever you think it is going to be 7 times. You show the interest for that. You will not pay for that. You won't pay for that. That's what I think it's worth it. You know, because if you're going to do that, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see because I'm going to do it.
it's your tundra.
Huh?
It's your
Tundra.
Yeah.
It's my tundra, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if I want to use it for 10 years, I'm going to use my tundra for 10 years because I love it.
Yeah.
You know? So...
The weaker side, we always have to sit down and think, I'm going to get invaded if I don't do a deal here. So who should I have on my side? You know what I mean? And then they're going to be looking at, and then it's like, yeah, it's going to be a lose-lose for me, nevertheless. So if they have, it's all about that. I mean, but again, this is a chess game that we don't know.
There
So-
are...
The art of the deal.
There
Yeah.
are several movies and books and you know stories about that. You know, like rich families in the Middle East.
Sure.
You know, they play with the U.S. They play with everyone to
Right.
keep the power. You know, so you keep your land, you keep whatever country, nation you are, because you balance. You know, so
Do we know somebody that really understands about geopolitics or not?
Shit. I just brought up what was happening. I'm just here.
It's
playing.
Conrad's news of the week.
Yes, love it.
With that, let's go to the battle of the logos because we have wild card games.
Hilton.
Yes,
Proud of you. Good job.
thank you. I know, I'm good.
Got this down pat. So how did the regular season finish out, Dylan?
You guys won.
I'm glad you asked. Week 18 was a tough slate. We actually went 58% correct on sweeps. A lot of upsets, if you will.
Well, I made a lot of points.
Yeah,
Somehow.
you did.
So there's a lot of things we thought would go one way that didn't go that way. But in key pivotal moments,
Hey, Dylan, can I have some more gold juice?
I do remember a certain somebody betting against their team.
I did.
Oh, shit. Yes.
And you almost cashed in on that bet. But late game, they found a way, and the Seahawks, they won.
Okay, they sealed the win. Yes.
Sealed the
Birds
win.
won?
Seahawks won.
I believe that when you get it by yourself, it should be 1.5 or 2
Another
points.
pivotal was taking the Bengals
Right.
over
We'll
the
do that
Steelers.
next. We'll do that next year.
Right?
Yeah.
I actually believe next year Seahawks are a playoff team for sure.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were so close this year, and I think they're going to make some good moves over the offseason. They're going to be a playoff team. So high hopes. I'm serious. There are high hopes for the Seahawks. I just think
How about the news I sent to you?
after
about
that
the
last game, you had to have
Jordan
expected a
Love.
win.
Let's talk about it later.
But regardless, it was a tough year. You know,
Yeah,
we all
Bengals,
thought
yeah.
Paul was going to try to make a little comeback here. He had 1 week to do so, to just go like 4 ahead of everybody to try and not end up in last place. Unfortunately, he ended up in last place
I kept
Oh,
my.
Whoa.
I'm fourth.
I kept
by
my
4
position.
picks.
Yeah.
So we got Paul in last place, which means he's going to have to buy the whiskey for the next 3 months.
He's not here to debate.
That's recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in law.
The
somewhere.
session, the session is signed by everyone here.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if we have any viewers at home keeping
We have
tabs,
Carl.
but something about Paul losing anything, he's never here to talk about it. And the history of him being a part of the podcast,
chooses the exact date.
he's just never been here.
I'm
Yeah.
busy running business deals and
I guarantee you, if Texas loses the playoff game this weekend, he'll be here next week. 1,000%. So it is funny how these things work out. But
Now I get what you're going.
it was
Took me a
close.
while.
Came down to the wire last week. Some people had to make some picks that maybe they didn't want to make, trying
Yeah.
to get ahead. We're playing the game
yeah.
this last week more than we are trying to decide reality of what's going to happen.
Yes.
So
So our football chief has won it this year. Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan.
Yes.
Dylan,
The-
congratulations.
Yeah, man. You know, I gotta.
thank you. It would almost be embarrassing if I didn't. So I would have been fine losing. The only person I was going to lose to was Conrad. I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
All right.
I would have been absolutely okay with that.
I did fine. Yeah.
You did
George
good.
did well. He did
Yeah.
more than fine. He did well.
Only 2 points.
Yeah.
Everything Jordan.
I know. I was
And
just.
look, Paul
Yeah.
is another guy. He's a football guy. Last place.
Yeah.
So you did better than another guy that knows just as much as I do.
And I'm a logo guy, and I did 4 points more than Paul.
I think a lot of those is him. He wouldn't stop picking the Cowboys all year. He just would not stop picking
Yeah.
the Cowboys, and that screwed him up.
Yeah.
I got away from that early because I saw the season we were going to have, and it is what it is. But if we hop over here to the right, we look at our averages. Pretty close, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Percentage. So this final number here is just on the entire year, all games. I forget exactly how many there were, but there were a lot. Just your average percentage, how many games you got correct when you picked them. 64%. Almost 65% is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That's better than.
If you round it, yeah.
We're less than a point away, because 0.8 away.
And I was going to say,
George.
how interesting is that? Oh, yeah. 65%. Almost 66, yeah.
Worst was 63%. So we're all hitting the ball here.
Yeah.
Some are just hitting it slightly more. So I think next year, and also, it's a tough game, man. You're
It's
relying
really
on
difficult.
other humans to perform the level that you know
Let me
they're
tell you
capable
something
of, and they don't
about
always
it.
do that.
About an experience that I had for the first time with the NFL is that playing home in most sports I follow is determinant for the win.
Yes.
You know, like it in soccer decides the top teams win 80%, 85% of their games. I pick up the table you sent me, Dylan. I started working with the numbers, and I saw the results of all teams per team, the percentage of each team playing at home and away.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 46, 64, 46, 54.
54.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know because I haven't updated, but I think it's going to be even closer.
It's relatively even, right?
Yeah, so probably it's going to be 52, 48. In other sports, it's 75, 25.
Historically, it does ring true that home games are more important, or give you a better chance of winning. Certain stadiums in the NFL have a bigger impact
Benefits.
than others. The way they're built, the acoustics, and the
Right.
fans that cheer you on.
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
But the biggest ones, like Seattle, nobody wants to play in Seattle. That stadium is crazy. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. These stadiums make noise. No one wants to play there. Kansas
And
City.
it's cold.
And it's cold.
This isn't warm. This isn't warm Miami.
Go to
Everybody
Wisconsin.
hates-
Go play in Green Bay.
Boston Celtics.
Who wants to do that?
Garden.
So these
Everybody
all-
hate it. Everybody hate it.
Yeah.
But then certain points of the season, you have a team that starts performing poorly. That home team, when you're at home, that stadium doesn't make the
too
same
much,
noise. People aren't showing up to these games.
Yes.
So there's further implications
Yes.
as it goes on. So I would be interested to see those statistics in the playoffs, because there's only, so many teams left, and 14, and they will probably make some noise in their home stadiums this week, and I'm curious to see if you apply that to college football. A lot of they weren't necessarily home games, but a lot of the teams that got the bye week, not all of them. There are 4 teams, seed 1 through 4, got the bye week and advanced. All 4 of them lost with the higher seeding. So
Yeah.
it's weird how some things
So
kind
from
of play
5th
out.
to 8th,
It's all that's 5th to 12th.
Actually,
12, yeah.
I just did it for soccer for the national competition. The games at home, the percentage of the teams at home, and the percentage of the teams away.
What's that?
So take a look at the percentage of the teams playing away.
Say that out
figure it
loud,
out.
please.
60% to 17%.
Over here, right? So, but you see that the best performance is going to be 66, but the average is 20%, 25%
At home?
at home. The
So there's-
average 25%
No,
at
that's
home.
away. That's away.
Away.
Fora.
But look at home. Look at the wins
I
at
was
home.
gonna say that's crazy at home. So the average is 50 something, 61.
70, almost 70 if you consider 80 at 65, 70%.
So if that reflected to American football,
It
we
wouldn't.
would be scoring 70 in here if we played like home games only.
If you,
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
with the team, yeah.
Exactly. If we
Just
played only
pick the
game,
home-
yeah.
If we played home games only, like for example, let's say next year I go like, okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna play all home games. I would be last place because I'd be scoring like 52% instead of 64.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another factor I think that doesn't get included into this is a lot of times these home teams have stadiums that aren't built for the weather.
Yes.
Weather dictates a lot of things.
Yes.
Green Bay, the
in
snow.
Europe more than in
Yes.
Brazil.
In Brazil, I mean, it's summertime. It's going to be hot and warm, no matter north to south. It's going to be,
Yeah,
consistent.
but this year, for example, just for you two guys to know, Grêmio played 9 games away. 9 games they should play at home. They played away.
Okay, let's get into the picks. Because we need to wrap up. How long have we been on? 1 hour and 47 minutes?
Yeah, you gotta cut my hair too, man. Our wife's gonna be upset.
Oh yeah, my wife's already upset.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
just taking a nap, and she's gonna wake up pissed. All right, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Houston Texans.
Chargers for me, please.
Taking the Chargers?
Yep. I have lost all complete faith in the Texans.
Well, they won last week.
Barely.
Texans at home, by
Can
the
you
way.
enlarge a little bit?
Texans at home in
Click
Houston.
over here because it has something going on over here. Yeah.
Thanks.
Of course. Chargers at Texans.
Chargers for me.
Conrad is on the Chargers.
I would say it's colored. Is that because of the wild card?
Oh no, he just lost.
I don't know. This could go Texans. I'm.
No, you gotta go. So you have Lat McConkey. You have Justin Herbert. J.K. Dobbins is back.
And it's gonna be cold.
Quentin Johnston, Johnston.
But it's a enclosed stadium.
And it's in Houston. It's a wet, cold, indoors.
Okay.
I've been there.
Chargers on the
Yeah.
road. I've been there.
2021.
Yeah.
They beat the Patriots with Tom Brady.
I was at that game.
What?
I was at that game.
Yeah,
You guys
I
talked
was that
about
too,
it
yeah.
last year.
Yeah. So who's gonna win? So who are you guys picking for?
Did Paul send the pics?
I just texted him. He said he'll be back in 2 weeks.
Just in time for the Super Bowl.
He picked the Texans.
So don't pick the
I
Texans.
think I'm on the Chargers now.
Hell yeah.
Shall I pick it? Mine too. Chargers.
This could go either way. I just think Stroud hasn't proved himself. Mixon's been going slow. Their momentum coming into this has not been as high. Like the Chargers have a lot of momentum. And they've got a lot of.
Can you still lose if you got all wrong and corner gets all right, all correct? Can you still lose, or when the competition is gone?
Why not?
We'll keep it going.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
behind.
less games, less points, but it's still.
Maybe you can, you know, like you can overcome if you pick up different months.
What
from
if,
me.
what if it ends up coming down to the Super Bowl?
That's
Wow.
great. That's even better.
That would be pretty cool.
Now we're talking about having some fun.
Yeah.
How about fantasy football? How'd that go?
Don't even talk about it. Stick to one thing at a time. Son of a...
I will
I'm learning.
pick. So Chargers has the upper hand.
No.
Well,
They have one more win than Houston. Houston has the upper hand because they're at home.
But what about the players that are saying that they're back? and they're
Just
coming
measure
off?
it at home.
Everybody's basically back and playing. The Texans are
Yeah,
without a
just make
star
my-
wide receiver,
at
but
this
they've been
point.
without him for a while because he's
Two.
out. Stephon Diggs is Nico
Tank Dell.
Collins playing.
Nico Collins is
Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs are out. Nico Collins is playing. Joe Mixon's a freaking amazing running back. He just hasn't been performing to the level. So this could be a pop-off game for him. I don't know. I'm just momentum. Their momentum and trajectory for me. The Texans reached a peak in the second half of the season, and it's been coming down.
So
Where the Chargers have the
what is
opposite.
the consequence of losing these games?
They're
this
out.
Matchup.
It's over. This is the playoffs.
So whoever
Winner go home.
loses goes
Eliminated.
home.
Yeah.
I'll go Chargers.
It's not
Yeah, I think Chargers will
group
stay.
stage
I
is
think so.
over. This is like
I'll go Chargers because I
Wild
saw
card.
a few games.
I love
that
this
Chargers
kind of
play.
wild cards, you know, like
Steelers
It's the
at
best of the game.
the
you know, like,
Ravens.
everything in heaven.
It is.
I'm also Ravens. Anyone else want to take the
This
Steelers
is a
here
tough one.
Yeah.
on the road?
I do want to say, guys, this is the first Amazon Prime
It is.
playoff game. So that's kind of fun. I'm going to go Ravens.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Ravens.
Birds, sweep.
All right, we have the Denver Broncos at the Buffalo Bills
The
And
Bills.
playing at the
Bills.
Bills is Noel.
in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Cold as shit. Well,
Bildos. That's Bildos. You know.
I mean, the Broncos play in the cold also.
Yeah, Denver.
But like
Less oxygen.
5 feet of snow.
Yeah, really. Sweeper.
The Packers at the Eagles.
This is a tough one, man.
Paul went with the Dirty Birds. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown,
Oh
Devontae
my
Smith.
God, man.
Eagles.
I want to pick the Packers so bad with
Yeah,
Aaron Jones.
Eagles.
I'm gonna pick the Eagles to win,
Yes.
Me too.
but
mean,
I just am really rooting for the Packers.
Yeah, I also want the Packers to win, but I
This-
don't think they will. I'll go Birds.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be
you
my
gotta
game.
go.
My game of the
I
week.
hate the Eagles.
My game
my
of the
arch
wild-
nemesis.
Yeah.
My wild game.
We can only pick one game of the week.
Well, my wild game.
Wild card game. Yeah, there you go.
Wild card game of the week. Mine will be
Yes.
Steelers Ravens.
Now mine is gonna be.
Mine's
Eagles,
this next
Packers.
game, but I'm gonna let
Let me see.
I'm
What's
gonna let
gonna be.
Hilton bring it in.
Yeah.
I will bring that one in, which is also my game. I can put my
Initial.
my initial over there for the game of the week
It's
as
gonna
well.
be a really good game.
Yeah.
Because next week, this week, we also have the Commanders at the Buccaneers.
Oh
I
my
think that was the first time this whole year that
Yeah.
we ever played.
Matchup built for you.
Everything
Oh,
came to that
man.
moment.
Yep.
Everything came to that moment.
It probably a hell of a game, honestly.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
one. That
that's-
one. Oh my
yeah.
God.
I,
You want me to go first?
Okay, go first.
I'm taking them Pirates. I'm
Same
taking the
here.
Bucks.
I'm doing the Buccaneers.
Really?
But yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Me too.
I like the Commanders though, but
You're not
too.
wrong either way. I like the heart of this Bucks team, and I like their running back core with Rashad White, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans. You get him popping off. Baker Mayfield's been playing out of his mind. Their O line's been
yeah.
playing pretty good. D line's been clicking. Commanders got a rookie quarterback.
who's playing good.
Been playing amazing. You get into the playoffs, people start scheming up some different style of play because it's win or go home. So you start seeing trick plays. You start seeing crazy blitz packages.
More experienced players with potential.
We're gonna put him under pressure. We're gonna try and expose because this
We've
isn't
been
about
here. We've been here. We know.
Okay,
We know
I'm
what's going to
Panama,
happen.
and I'll go Bucks.
the Bucks.
Yeah, on a second thought,
Our dirty neighbors.
yes, we are all Bucks.
I think it's a sweep.
Yep.
It's another sweep.
Our only
Jeez.
sweep is not the first one because Paul was on the Texans. Vikings at Rams.
The one who survives.
This is tough too. Vikings have not been playing up to their full potential as of late.
And that's why I'm going to go with the Rams.
I think Paul went Vikings, but I was just about to say I think I'm leaning Rams, and they're at home.
Yeah.
Give him the Rams. Unfortunately. Oh yeah.
I'll go Vikings. I'll go with Paul on that one. I have to support my Viking.
Heritage.
And with that, we have brought you the very short but sweet wild card battle of the logos.
Yeah.
And while we hate to do it,
We have
to say goodbye.
And please subscribe.
Like.
Comment.
Yeah, and share with your friends.
Turn on the
Family,
notifications. yeah.
co-workers, hit that notification bell.
Yeah.
Buckle your seatbelts in because 2025 Puff Drink Talk is taking it to the moon.
Ooh.
Yeah, please help us and do share with your friends and unfriends.
We've never asked for money. We've only asked for your contributions of liking.
Can we ask for money?
Costs nothing. I'll take your money.
Yeah, but
to invest in the podcast?
yes,
Of course.
of course.
I'd rather take your subscriptions and your friends' subscriptions. And
That's right.
the subscription is free $99. So we will see you next week.
Ta-da!
Thank you.